days of startling advancement in the field of synthetic products finds our Army at Holabird Ordnance Motor Base using Army Jeeps to test a variety of possible substitutes for standard rubber tires. Wood, plywood, cotton fabrics, steel, and even rubber are tested separately and in various combinations to find a practical substitute with maximum endurance and durability. Here's one that uses an ordinary rubber tread, but instead of the standard wheel, a series of springs takes its place. An extensive saving in weight and steel. Here's a tire made completely of wood, fitting perfectly onto the standard Army rim and wheel. 16 segments of hard wood instead of rubber. Wooden tires, however, aren't designed to give long mileage service, more for spares or for delivery of vehicles. Whereas these rubber-capped wheels are being tested as full substitutes for pneumatic rubber tires. This testing model was designed with as much rubber in the tread and the hard rubber spokes as in an ordinary tire and tube. Redesign, however, might make possible fewer spokes and therefore less rubber. For non-combat work, only half the number of rubber spokes would actually be necessary. They take no chances in the testing. Every bump and skid and obstacle available is used for testing every type. If the Army decides to use any or all, they must know what each type can do and where each weakness lies. And so, around and around the test courses, making sure that no stone is left unturned in the Army's search for ways to save rubber. This one's made of an impregnated cotton fabric, wood, and steel in about equal parts. It's heavy and extremely rigid in construction. Even moderate speed and a bad bump could result in crystallization or breakage of an axle or bearing. So its use would be more than likely on vehicles traveling short distances at slow speed, such as a searchlight unit or an air compressor unit. Designed only for use as a spare, this auxiliary plywood wheel is meant as a crutch for a flat tire. Without the necessity of using a jack, the driver need merely lock a special hub plate onto the hub of the wheel, drive the car backward until the lock slips into place, and he has a wheel which will easily support the vehicle until he can reach a repair station. Again, cotton fabric is a tread material, but this time an entire wheel, not just a tire. Less limited in its scope, the wheel is being considered for full-time use on vehicles of limited speed, even in combat areas where the going is more difficult. The experimental wheel contains possibly 50% more material than is actually required, making it heavier and clumsier. If accepted and production were started, lighter, stronger metals and simpler design would cut its weight by more than half. Round the bend again, tireless testing to save tireless tomorrows. Endless testing to provide our Army always with the best and most efficient equipment. Brazil Day. The 76th Infantry Division holds a review in honor of our newest ally on the 120th anniversary of the establishment of Brazilian independence. Lieutenant General Leslie J. McNair, Commanding General of the Army Ground Forces, arrives with his family and is greeted by the host of the day, the Commanding General of the 76th Division, Major General E.F. Reinhardt. The Governor of the State of Maryland, the Honorable Herbert O'Connor and Mrs. O'Connor, join the reviewing party. Lieutenant General McNarney, General Marshal's Special Deputy for the Brazil Day ceremonies. The day's guest of honor, the Brazilian delegation headed by His Excellency the Brazilian Ambassador, Carlos Martins, arrives from Washington with his family. They are escorted by General Reinhardt into the bandstand where the ladies will remain during the review. One by one, the visitors arrive, official Brazilian delegates to this country. Some members of the joint Brazil-United States Defense Commission. Major General Carvalho and Vice Admiral Vasconcelos, military leaders of our new ally, most recent nation to align itself against the Axis and join the banner of the United Nations. As spokesman from South America's largest nation, the ambassador from Brazil speaks to the officers and men of the 76th Division.
General, it is a privilege for me as Brazilian ambassador to have the honor to assist this review. You can be proud of your soldiers, and the world will recognize that a free country can also make a big army, and more, that can make the biggest, the best, and the most gallant army in the world.
I wish to assure you, on behalf of the officers and men of the 76th Division, that it has been a great pleasure for us to give this review in honor of this great holiday of one of our sister republics from South America.
The Brazilian national anthem, while troops and guests stand at attention. Inspection of the division's escort battalion by General Reinhardt and his guests of honor. It is the first divisional review in the history of the 76th. And then the review. 15,000 men pass in review before the guests of honor. American soldiers parading past emissaries from their newest ally. Before the visitors leave, the Brazilian admiral gives a parting word to the fighting men of his country's newest ally.
On behalf of the armed forces of Brazil, I can say that what we have just seen is wonderful, wonderful and reassuring. We will leave this ground afterwards, sure that the victory will be ours in this war against such a dreadful foe.